goosebumps every time, yeah, 713. Do the 281, yeah, I'm riding. Why they on me? Why they on me? I'm flying, sipping low key. I'm sipping low key and hiding. I get those goosebumps
Newcastle
every
United.
time. Come around,
Wembley is a place for
you ease my mind. You make everything feel fine. Worry about those comments. I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time. I need the hype, throw that to the side, I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around, throw that to the side, I get those goosebumps every time.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Loading Mag NUFC. I apologize. I'm in my Udi. I'm not going to change. I don't feel great. So hopefully talk about Newcastle United will make you feel a little bit better. But boys, we are back in business. Daz has got the shades on, and I think I know why.
You do know why. Forget this club football, Pete. Forget club football. Forget Newcastle. It's all about international football. I've always said it. For as long as I remember, I said it's all about international football. And Ireland are going to win the World Cup, boys, because we're in the playoff.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I understand that.
But it's not just, you know what, fair play. Congratulations to Republic of Ireland, because it's not just the fact that they are in the playoffs, it's how they did it. You know, coming back from a losing position to win in the 95th minute, the last minute of the game. Parrott with his hat trick. Troy Parrott, who's apparently having a really good season, actually. And
he is,
you know what? Look, Daz, you were watching it, you would have seen it, but the scenes when that winning goal went in, you guys must have just been, everyone in Ireland must have just been hitting the roof where that went in, mate.
Well, you say I was watching it, but as you guys know, I said I was in town today. I was in Galway all day, and I did know the match was on, and I said, right, I'm going to record it just in case. But while I was out and about, actually, Galway markets are open in Galway at the moment. Anyone from Galway listening in? But it's a great day out, actually. But I did wander into Curry's to look at a TV. To size up a TV while the game was on, really just wanted to see the game. So I was watching a bit of the game. We're 2-1 down at that stage, and then I were nearing home time, and I went back to the car early and I was watching on my phone, and I was there in 70 minutes. This is not going to happen. Still 2-1 down. By the time I got home, I saw 3-2. I was like, what? Couldn't believe it that we'd made the playoffs. So I did watch the last 20 minutes back, and it is worth watching that 20 minutes alone. It was some turnaround. That's like 5 goals in 2 games for Troy Parrott. It was just, and 2 against Portugal, obviously the other day. So look at it. I don't get too excited about international football, but no, it was some achievement and some turnaround. It's all about this playoffs now, and to learn the rules of what this playoff means as well now at some stage, but and see who we get in it. But forget about that. Forget about me. Chris, I say hello to you as well. Happy wedding anniversary, Chris, and happy wedding anniversary to Lisa as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. So as I was telling you boys before we went live, I am aware of when my wedding anniversary is. I just hadn't quite understood that it was today. I didn't know today was the 16th of November. Well, I did find out late last night. So I managed to turn it around and make sure that it was okay. But yeah, I didn't realize today was the 16th of November. So maybe I should have looked at a calendar earlier. But I'm good, mate. I'm good. Lots of DIY going on at the moment. I'm going to have to empty my living room this evening following this show because we're getting a new flooring fitted tomorrow. But I won't bore you all with that. But on a personal level, I'm good. I haven't seen any of the international football, so interesting when you were talking about the Republic of Ireland, because I didn't know. The only thing I knew was, I think was it Friday night, I want to say, did Germany win 2-0? And I think Nick Baltimore scored 2. I did see that. I always, whenever I look, I have to look at the Germany results, because I always want to see how Nick Baltimore gets on. But other than that, I genuinely don't know any other international results whatsoever. But on a personal level, I'm good. Pete, I'm sorry to hear you're not well, mate. Is that come on you today, or have you had it all weekend? Hopefully, you've not had it all weekend.
Nah, I started to feel a little bit off on Friday. Then like nose is running and stuff blocked, bunged up. But then it was like yesterday evening, just like my chest, you know, like when you breathe in and you kind of feel like that little pain in your chest, started to feel that. And then when I woke up this morning, yeah, it just felt horrible. But yeah, so it's gone through the family. My boy had it, my wife's had it, and I thought I might have escaped it, but I don't think I have. But we'll soldier on through as we always do. Got my medicines taken, ready for the show, so it'll at least get me through it, no doubt. And look, we'll get straight into it, people. Just make sure you hit the likes, nice and early. Thank you for coming and tuning in on a Sunday evening with Loaded Mag NUFC. Make sure you do all that good stuff as well. And yeah, a few other things to go through. Not only did Ireland dramatically get the win, but also our women's team got the win as well in Derby Day at St James's Park. So big shout out to the Newcastle United women's team, 3-1 winners at St James's Park. I believe just over 18,000 people attended to watch the game, which is brilliant stuff. And even more reason to celebrate wedding anniversaries, Ireland getting through to the knockout phases, and of course it's our captain's birthday today, Bruno Guimaraes. So big up to Bruno Guimaraes on his birthday, and he celebrated it well. I heard he was absolutely superb in the friendly at the Emirates Stadium. I think they played against Senegal actually, and I didn't watch the game, but I heard he was very, very good in that game. So he's obviously taken international football by storm at the moment, and hopefully he can recap that in a black and white shirt on Saturday. Where do you want to go with this, boys? There's a few things that we can talk about. There's been a few different things popping up Newcastle United related, but yeah, where do you want to go? Anything you want to go to? Are there any questions that have come in already that people want us to discuss? What's the general feeling?
I mean, unless Daz has got something he burningly wants to discuss. I mean, we've already got 7 questions in the chat, so we could always kick off those Q&As if you wish. Unless Daz wants to talk more about Ireland. I don't know.
No. Let's move on. Because
oh, we lost him.
No, I'm still here. I'm still here. But no, let's keep going. We'll probably talk about Neesmith or however you pronounce his name as well at some stage. The midfielder we're linked with, and we are starting to be linked with a few players now, so that is getting interesting. But no, I think we go to the chatter's questions, and it is a Q&A show after all.
It is. Okay, well let's kick it off, boys. So, oh God, which one to go to first? Tell you what, let's go for a slightly broad one, and I like this, and it might be quite a quick answer. But Dale asks, great joke by the way. I've seen that in the chat. Do you know what? I feel like we need to give Dale his flowers for that joke. I don't think everyone saw it, but it was a very good one. Dale says, I was a bit concerned when I first put it up on screen, but Dale says, my mum crashed her car last night while listening to Adele. She went rolling in the Jeep. Very good, Dale. Very, very good, Dale. I like that a lot. I might use that one myself. Very good. Right. So, but Dale also asks us a question, boys, and he says, I'll start with you, Pete. He says, will Edward Howe win another piece of silverware in his career at Newcastle or at another club?
Yeah, that's an easy one for me. I believe he will. He's too good of a manager not to. I think this is only the starting point really of him being a top level elite coach. I know we question some of his decisions. No manager's perfect, but for me, yeah, absolutely, he will win another piece of silverware. Hopefully with Newcastle United, and hopefully this season. Fingers crossed.
Dazzler.
Yeah, I think Eddie Howe will definitely win something else in his career. I would love it to be with Newcastle, obviously. And yeah, as Pete says, it could even be this year, where we're going the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup has to start off and stuff as well. Still in the Champions League too. Yeah, it just needs to get over this bump in the road, let's say, and let him. Hopefully, he makes it through to the summer then, and we can kick out from there. That's the hope and dreams. But let's see. I think if he did leave Newcastle, he and went on to manage England, I think he could win some with England as well.
Yeah, do you know what? You might have just changed my mind on that one. Sorry, Pete, you were going to say something then, mate.
No, I was going to say, what do you think, Chris? I was just asking.
Yeah, do you know what? Because I was a bit torn on this one. It's a very good question. And the reason being is, but Daz may have just swung me. Because the reason being is, I think if Eddie Howe leaves Newcastle United at some point, I only think it will be for a club. I don't think it will be for a club as equal to as Newcastle. I think it would be a step down. And then I'm thinking, so in my head, I was thinking, right, okay, so if this, and no offense to any of these clubs, but if this was a Wolves or a Palace or a club like that, would I then see him winning a trophy there? Then I was thinking, well, what if he was to shoot down the leagues as he gets older, by the way, not because of him struggling in terms of his career and stuff. But then I thought, oh, maybe he'd win like an EFL trophy or something like that. I don't know. But the England thing, the England thing does make me think. Yeah, I could see him managing England, and I think England have got such a great crop of players. There's no reason why he couldn't win that. And that sounds really negative, doesn't it? And I'm not saying that Eddie Howe won't stay here for the next 5-10 years. Maybe he will. I hope he does. And I think if Eddie Howe does stay for that duration of time, I think he will win something with Newcastle United. But yeah, it was a more difficult question than what I first thought when I flashed it up. But yeah, I agree with you boys. I think the answer would be yes.
I think Eddie Howe, I know what you're saying, like it might be a step down, but like if he was to go and manage another club. But I think the body of work that Eddie Howe's done at Newcastle United, I think someone like Man United would have him. I think Tottenham potentially would take him. I even think maybe even a Chelsea. You know how many managers Chelsea go through. Yeah, they're going to need a manager at some point in the next year or so. For whatever reason, they go through managers like hot dinners. So
yeah.
I think he could manage it. I think if you look at the body of work that he's done at Newcastle, I think he's given people clubs at a similar or higher level the belief that he could do that job. Obviously, we don't want him to stay, but I don't know. I think he could manage it.
You're right, though, Pete. It's such a hard question, isn't it? Dale, I didn't think this would be such a hard question, but it is interesting because if you'd said to me when Rafa left Newcastle, will he win another trophy? I'd be like, yeah, of course he will. Of course he will. Yeah. But then he went to Everton, and the move just that was just the wrong move.
China.
Yeah, and then China. Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden, it's like now, if you were to ask me, will he win another trophy? I'd say, well, no, he won't. So yeah, great question, Neil. Neil. Great question, Dale. I don't know where Neil came from. Well done, Dale. Right, let's see. Let me see. Quick one from Bri. Thanks, name Bri. Bri says, "What are your thoughts on the Trafford links? Not for me, but maybe the club will." And what I'm going to ask you, boys, I'm going to slightly tweak this, and I'm going to say, will James Trafford ever play for Newcastle United?
See you soon, Shagger. Isn't that what Popey said to him? I haven't seen the recent links. I know there's like talk of him being on the move again, but if it's like a loan thing, no, I don't think we go from there. If it's like straight sale and no buyback clause or no, there'll probably be a percentage of next sale or something like that. But then maybe we do get involved. It's like, we obviously wanted him. He was the first keeper we went for, and Ramsdale, while he's done nothing wrong while he's been with us, he hasn't got a shot really yet. He may do now when we do come back from this international break. But So he's still in the mix for sure. He's not turned into a bad keeper. It's just a bad move again, going back to City. But things were kind of out of his hands in some way because they had that matching clause that they could take him back whenever they wanted to, as soon as we agreed to fee. So I haven't seen the recent links, but tell us what are the recent links, Pete, first, and I'll be it.
Yeah, I had it on. I gathered a few things ready for the show, and this was one of the first things actually. If we didn't get many questions in, and thankfully we have, that was going to bring up. So the James Trafford links are this: is that Newcastle? It says Newcastle are pushing to sign James Trafford in January, with the English goalkeeper struggling for games at Man City. As we know, he's on the bench. Donnarumma's been fantastic. Eddie Howe's side, etc., have been linked with a 23-year-old. So that is what's been coming out in the last sort of couple of days. I think it was originally the report that he was going to go on loan in January because he's not happy with being number 2. He wants to play regular football. And then that link has been in the last couple of days. I think it might have even been yesterday that I saw that he has been linked with us again. It's a tough one, lads. From my perspective, I think it's a really, really tough one because I'll put it out here first and foremost. I don't think Newcastle United go for James Trafford in January. I'd be very surprised if they do. I think if we are going to go for James Trafford, it's going to be in the summer, when I think it will be more clearer on what Ramsdale's situation is. I think Ramsdale is absolutely crucial to this. Ramsdale is in a position. Ramsdale's in a position where he's still fighting for his permanent move to Newcastle United. I think he'd do anything to get this move for Newcastle. He's in the driving seat right now, in my opinion, because he's there. He can impress Eddie Howe and play well. I think he's absolutely crucial. If he comes in and then doesn't do well, and then is back out, I think the Trafford deal is on. I think it's absolutely on, and I think he would prioritise Newcastle United because he wanted to come to us anyway. It was only the Man City thing, and look, we asked Keith Downey, didn't we? We asked him the question, and it was like Keith Downey actually said he wanted to come to Newcastle, but it wasn't necessarily his decision. When Man City came in, it was almost like he had to go there, and that's come from Keith Downey, who was reporting on it in the summer. So I think he wants to come to Newcastle United. I think it's absolutely on. However, if Ramsdale comes in and plays well and becomes our number 1, I think there's then a big conversation what happens next, because Pope's still not. Pope signed an extension. He's already signed
another year option. Yeah, there was an option to activate another year, which he's done.
Yeah. So, we've got that situation. We can do cashing on Pope, and then you've got Trafford and Ramsdale. I don't know, for me, I think it's either Ramsdale or Trafford. I don't see Newcastle getting both.
Just add on one bit there. So obviously he wants to move as well, so he can increase his chances of getting to the World Cup. But also you have Pope, Ramsdale, and Trafford then fighting for those similar positions. So that's a mighty mix as well. It is a strange one, but I don't see it happening in January either. I think we'll prioritize other positions and we'll go what we have for the January and look again at the situation in the summer. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Very, very interesting one. My head is saying to myself, my head is saying, when Eddie Howe's got a target, he won't let that target go. So I don't think that Eddie Howe now looks at James Trafford and thinks, not interested in him anymore. We've moved on. I still believe that if James Trafford was available and James Trafford was available at the right price and a deal that Newcastle could do, I still think he'd want to do that deal. I don't think that his, going to Man City, not getting many minutes. Obviously, he started as number 1, didn't he? And then quickly went on a run to come in. He then became number 2, and his opportunities have been limited. I still believe that if a deal was there to be struck for James Trafford, he'd want to do the deal. But it would have to be right for the club. It'd have to be right. We'd have to, obviously, James Trafford would have to want to come. But it would have ramifications with Adam Ramsdale, with Nick Pope. I was also laughing to myself as well, Pete, when you were mentioning, the fact that like you wouldn't expect him to come in January. I wouldn't either. But I was thinking to myself, if there's one club in the Premier League who don't mind having too many goalkeepers, it's Newcastle United. Because I'm thinking we've already got enough goalkeepers, but that doesn't really seem to be a problem when it comes to Newcastle. We just recruit them anyway.
Did we have like 6 last year? We had like 6 goalkeepers.
Yeah.
How bad is that?
Yeah, so I don't think he'd be like, oh no, that's too many, because we know that we love a goalkeeper at Newcastle. But yeah, I don't think we would keep Pope and Ramsdale. And if you were to make me choose, if we were to sign Trafford, who would go, I would assume that Ramsdale would go, and that maybe they'd keep Pope around. I don't know, particularly because he's had a good season overall so far, barring recent mistakes. But do I see James Trafford in a Newcastle United shirt at some point? I think the answer would be yes. I think yes, because I don't think that Eddie Howe is the type of manager who, oh, you've had your chance, that's it. And plus, as you mentioned earlier, Pete, it sounds like he didn't have a choice. Like, he had to go there. So,
yeah.
It's not as if he knocked us back. It was probably just the fact that the club didn't move quick enough. That's what it was.
No, well, even if they put in the bid at the start of the window, Man City could have then jumped in and gone in. So it didn't. Yeah.
At that point, though, I think it's a good point that Chris has made, because at that point, City weren't interested in him.
No.
Like if we'd have done it right at the beginning, when it was like that window for the Club World Cup, if we'd have activated it then and actually put a bid in that was accepted, City weren't interested in him at that point, and we could have actually got him because he wanted to come. But the fact that we waited so long, it was almost like we wanted to do one deal at a time. It was like we had to do that deal for it. Look, it's not Eddie Howe's fault. He was having to basically play 3 roles in that summer. So I'm not putting any blame on anybody in that. But if we'd have activated it early on, got that deal done, wrapped it up, I think it'd have been a Newcastle player. But once City became involved, it was always going to be a different. Sorry for apologies. But yeah, I think it's a strange one. The problem is that I want to sign Trafford, but I wanted to sign Trafford when his confidence was sky high, coming off a really good season. I actually don't think there was a couple of goals that he conceded for Man City that were kind of like half mistakes. I don't even think they were bad mistakes. He wouldn't have been kicked at any other team other than Man City at that point. And I just think his confidence has been knocked massively. I'd just rather him go on loan somewhere for 6 months, play loads of games, confidence sky high again, and then like be ready to come in and hit the ground running. It could well be a perfect transitional move. We want to play with a goalkeeper that's good with his feet. It could be, do we get a good season out of Pope? He's got an extension now, holds his value. We could still get around 15 million for him, 15 to 20 million for him in the summer. And then we go with 2 brand new goalkeepers, both good at their feet, both good shot stoppers. Not good shot stoppers as Pope, but their overall game is better because they can do everything.
Yeah.
I just think that might be the way to go, but I can't see it in January. Like, it would cause so much unrest, and a big decision would have to be made. There's no way we go with Trafford, Pope, and Ramsdale in January. There just will be no point. What's the point of Trafford coming to us when he's probably going to be fighting out and going to be sitting on the bench? I just think it's too much upheaval in January that's not necessary. It's not necessary to kind of just cause that much distraction in the squad ranks. Just go with your 2 goalkeepers and reevaluate in the summer. That would just be the smart move in all of this. But would I take him? Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be a great goalkeeper. He just needs to find somewhere where he's actually going to settle, because he's been dotted from place to place over the last few years. He needs to find a home where he's going to be goalkeeper for the next 6-7 years, guaranteed number 1, and he'll show his ability. For me, he's the next in line for Pickford. If I tell you what, if Trafford had come to Newcastle, and had been number one for us, he'd have been the one starting tonight, not Henderson. He'd have been the one starting tonight when the rest of Pickford, the first time in forever, Trafford would have been playing tonight. But because he's not been playing football, they've had to go with Henderson because he's doing all right at Palace. But he's a better goalkeeper than Henderson. So,
who for a big match preview, we'll find out. But who's going to get the nod against City? I wonder the weekend.
Big question. It's a big question. It really is.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on Eddie's thoughts on the Brentford game. I think if you asked us three boys, we would. I think we'd all unanimously say Ramsdale, wouldn't we? But it's how Eddie Howe's perceived that Brentford performance. So yeah, interesting.
He's a loyal manager to his players. As we've had that conversation with Dan Burn and Joe Linton more recently. Like, he's very loyal to his players. Is he going to be loyal again to Nick Pope? And the question I'd be asking, lads, is that if he does go with Nick Pope, which is fine, what's it going to take for Ramsdale to actually get in? Like, if he doesn't go with Ramsdale now, when is he ever going to get an opportunity? Like, is Pope got to then concede 4 goals and make absolute howlers in like multiple games for him to be shipped out? I don't.
No, it's a fair point, isn't it? And also, as well, is he creating a bob for his own back? Because if Pope starts against City and he has a horrendous game, everyone's going to go, well, why didn't you play Ramsdale? And then he's got to put Ramsdale in because he's done it again. You know, so it's toughy, real toughy. One for midweek anyway. When we do our away day show. Now, this one is a little bit more of an easier question. I'm going to come to Pete for this first because I think it's probably obvious why. And Pete, this is from David R. And David R says, Pete, 10-minute countdown to Congo versus Nigeria. Are you doing a live commentary, lads? But in more serious question there from Matt Foxall, he says, does Vissa go to Congo on international break next month? If so, it has been a waste of 55 million. So, Pete, are we doing a live show? I'm hoping you're going to say no. For God's sake, I hope you're going to say no. And secondly, is Vissa going on the AFCON? I think you've made your stance quite clear on this, but for anyone maybe who hasn't seen in previous weeks your thoughts, is Vissa going on international duty with Congo next month?
He better not be. Because I'll be kicking off. I would not be happy. All the noises recently have been that he is more likely to stay with Newcastle United, and he absolutely has to stay with Newcastle United. I know we keep going around the circles of, yes, players love representing their country, etc., etc. Of course they do. Anyone would. But for me, he has to stay at Newcastle United. We've only just got him back. And then to ship him off to go and play African Cup of Nations, where, with all due respect, the standard of football pitches, the standard of care, it just isn't great. It isn't great, particularly with Congo, and how they've looked after him in that international break should mean that he stays with Newcastle United. I don't want him to. It's a weird one for me because, in one sense, I want Congo to lose every single game now moving forward whilst Reece is at this club. I don't want Congo winning a game, but actually, it might well be in our benefit because I can't remember who mentioned it, but if they do go to the World Cup and do win that World Cup qualifier, then it almost softens the blow a little bit. Newcastle maybe then can go to Congo and go, well, let's get him ready for the World Cup. Let's work together. Let's get him ready for the World Cup. Keep him with us for African Cup of Nations. Let us work with him and get his fitness back up so he's right as rain. You can have him in March, and then he's ready for you guys at the end of the season for the World Cup. There's an easier conversation that could be had then, knowing there's a World Cup then to be playing in. So there's that conversation too. So, like, although I don't want him to win a game, I actually kind of, in one sense, do, because it might help. Now, there's a few Newcastle fans in the Mags Down South chat that are, obviously family are from Nigeria. So, like, me saying to them I want Congo to win didn't quite go down well the other night. In the chat. I'll be honest, lads, it didn't go down well with me actually saying it myself that I wanted them to win. But there's wins and losses to what happens in that game. I didn't realise I didn't realise Aaron Wan-Bissaka played for Congo. I didn't realise. Obviously, Chancellor Member played for them. But I didn't realise Aaron Wan-Bissaka played for them. And there's somebody else as well. Somebody else who played in the Premier League. They've got a decent side. I didn't realise Congo had a decent side. A few well-known players in there, but yeah. What do you boys think? What do you boys think on that Congo-Wisa situation? Like, how are you seeing it?
Well, I'm all about international football after today, as you know now, unless you missed the start of the show. So I think, you should go to Congo. It's all about international football, isn't it? No, I don't think he should be playing. He needs to get back playing for his club, kicking the ball for his club, because he hasn't even touched the ball for us. And it's pretty poor if he goes playing for Congo before he ever plays for us. That's just ridiculous. And I agree with the statement. It's 55 million down the drain if that was to happen, because he would more than likely get injured again. Knowing our luck on that front. But I want to see him come back and start scoring a few goals for us. And then let's cross that bridge. We get to it then. And whether he does go or not to the African nations, let's see after that. But if the answer is Congo, I think the question has to be what country would Pete Davey invade? That'll be I think the answer.
Yeah, no, I agree with you boys. I don't think he goes away. I don't think he can. I really don't think he can.
Get up, yeah. Come on.
There we go. No, I don't think he can. I genuinely don't think he can. And I think, like Pete mentioned earlier, what the conversation that should take place is you qualify, and I'll be there. But right now I've got something I've got to do here. I've got to sort things out, with my club football, and I hope that's the case. Because he does owe us. He really, really does owe us. But we will see. We will see, boys. Anyway.
Yeah. Was it Axel Tunzebi was the player, was it?
Yeah, Tunzebi. Yeah. It was like a defensive line of like Wan-Bissaka right back, then Chancellor and Bemba, then Tunzebi. That's right. Because that was like the back three. Yeah. I was thinking, wow, okay. Like, actually got a decent side. Not bad at all. Fair play at all. I'm going to do something I never thought I'd actually do. I'm actually putting the game on. I'm going to put the game on. I'm going to actually watch it.
We are doing a lot.
It's working. It's working, Felix. It's working.
Hate watch. Is this hate watch, Pete?
Yeah, hate watch.
Hate watch. Right.
It's even more of a hate watch because they're losing as well.
Yeah.
I'm all confused. I know it's because I'm ill. Like, I'm all confused because I kind of wanted them to win, so it was an easier conversation. But at the same time, I just want them to lose. I don't know.
The unprofessional. Unprofessional. Yeah. No, I totally get it, mate. Totally get it. Right. Little bit of injury news here. Can anyone shed any light on this? Michael NUFC, and Michael, this is probably about as clear as mud, mate. But when is Tino Livramento back, anyone? It seems to have been out a long time. Now, my understanding, boys, and I could be wrong. Daz, I'll come to you first. My understanding is that Eddie and Newcastle as a whole have been very vague on this. They've not given a precise date, probably because, one, maybe they're not sure, and two, they don't want to, overpromise and under-deliver. But my understanding is that there may be a possibility that he's back for the City game. It's probably doubtful. I think he'll just appear one day and he'll be back in the squad. But have you heard anything? What's your understanding? Do you think it's maybe more likely to be December? What are your thoughts?
No, I just put it into Google, and AI tells me he was stretched off against Arsenal, as we recall. Initial diagnosis was 6 to 8 weeks. Eddie Howe said on the 14th of November he's on track for his return, and it says potential return dates: the Man City game or the Marseille game. So It's pretty soon. You imagine in the next 3 games, then we'd hope to see him, but it would be mad to throw him into the Man City game. But that's a big game to throw him into. I know we're at home, but because he was linked heavily to Man City as well in the summer. It depends what state he's in, and I guess he's obviously not gone on international duty this time around, get himself right, so he'll be working with Eddie. I don't see him at Man City game. No. Maybe Marseille, maybe.
But again, Daz, you've just raised a really good point, because it makes you wonder whether has Tino ever meant to have been ready? How's the fact that he's like, he's still not right? Is that in order to keep him at Newcastle United? What do you think, Pete? Because obviously, if Eddie Howe announced over a week ago, he's fine, he's back in the squad. Yeah, if he was in that squad against Brentford, Thomas Tuchel would then be like, oh, great, I'll put him in the squad. Is that a tactic, perhaps, Pete? Or do you think that maybe, he isn't quite ready yet? And do you expect him to see him for Man City?
Yeah, it's a definite tactic. I can't remember who said it. One of the journalists said it, that they expect him to be back for Man City. And they said that literally a couple of days ago. So that was what I'd heard. And because I can't remember who said it, I'm not sure it was Craig Hope. But when they said it, I was like, oh, okay. So I'm under the impression he's going to be back for Saturday. And I don't know if you guys remember seeing it, but when they were doing I think they had access. Yeah, it was Sky Sports that had access to the training in preparation for the Champions League game against Bilbao. And I think Keith Downey was there, and Tino was training, because it was the first clip. Newcastle put something out on Twitter with a picture of Tino back in training. So he's had two. He's had 2 weeks.
When he was walking down the little hill. Yeah, seen it.
I think he was doing some individual stuff.
On his own.
I saw him running up a hill.
Oh, I saw him running down a hill. Well,
yeah, I saw him going down a hill. So if he's done both, even better.
Up a hill, down a hill, great.
Yeah, but so for me, if he's been back on grass, he's been back on grass now for probably 2.5 weeks. So if he's been back on grass for 2.5 weeks, he'll be close to being ready. It's different for Johan Wieser, because Johan Wieser's been back on grass for a while, but he didn't have a preseason, and Eddie Howe mentioned that his is purely now building up his fitness to be ready.
Yeah,
I will put
you start from scratch.
But with Tino's already played matches. He had a full preseason, played matches. He'll be, once his knee's ready to go, which it seems like it is now, he'll be back in the team. And I wouldn't be surprised to see both Tino and Johan Wieser be on the bench, at least for Man City. I wouldn't be surprised. That'd be such a welcome boost as well.
Be huge.
Such a welcome boost.
Be huge. Brilliant. Okay, boys. Okay. Right. Let me see. Yeah. So Tanguy Vivid, and I'll start with you, Pete, on this one. Tanguy Vivid says, "Is a formation change needed to enhance Voltemada's game?" And also, we see Sophie B, who says something similar. Do you think Eddie Howe must adapt and change his formation to try something new instead of a 4-3-3? What are your thoughts on that? We saw. Well, I say we saw. I still haven't watched it. But Daz, I know that you, I think you did as well, Pete. Jordi had put a little video out of Nick Voltemada's goals. Whilst I know he scored 2 goals, I haven't seen the goals. But apparently they are traditional striker goals. And the key message being that, if you can get the ball into the box, you can score the goals. So, Pete, the question is, from Tanguy Vivid and Sophie, if you're Eddie Howe, are you keeping this 4-3-3? Are you trying to adapt it, adopt it, change it, alter it? What are you doing?
I wouldn't be against the formation change if it's going to accommodate Voltemada more in the game. It's really clear to see, and I watched. I was in and out. I was in and out of watching Lewis Hall actually for the under 21s, because I was watching that game, and then I was in and out watching the Germany game as well. And it was very clear to see that in the last 3 or 4 internationals, when we first saw Nick Woltemade play for Germany, we were like, they're not playing two straps at all. They're not giving him the ball. They're not working around him whatsoever, and he looked just like a loose part. It's very clear in those 4 games that the manager's gone, right, okay, we need to tweak things in order to make it work for him. So what they've done at first, Wirtz was right on top of Woltemade. They're in each other's space. It just wasn't working. So what they've done, they've shifted Wirtz further wide. He plays a lot with stuff out on the left, which now allows Woltemade to do his business. But the key thing is service. He's getting great service. Leroy Sané was just putting excellent balls into the box. He was getting service from either end. So now he's in a position to know where the ball's coming, that it's coming to him, so he can make runs to get on the end of it. The quality of service is not there for Newcastle United. He doesn't have it. Whether it's down to the quality of winger, whether it's down to the winger skill set, I don't know. But we are not providing enough bullets for Nick Woltemade. Like we literally created 5 chances. He scored 5 goals in the Premier League. Like that should tell you everything you need to know. I want to see him have 6, 7, 8 chances a game. That's what we were providing for Alexander Isak. We need to do the same, and if it means tweaking the system to allow that to happen, then I'm all for it. What that system looks like, I don't know, but fortunately for me, I'm not in that position to have to make that decision. Eddie Howe makes that decision, but for me, it's fundamentally it's about us playing to his strengths. What do we need? We need him to be in the box, but not just be in the box. We need him to know that where he is in the box, that he's going to get that ball. He needs to know that if he's making a run into the box, that the ball's going to come in a certain way so he can get on the end of it. Because you're looking at what can happen in the game that he played in on Friday night. That's what you get. Now, one thing I've been looking for, and he's been scoring for Newcastle United apart from the last few games. It's great, but I want Nick Woltemade to be having enough chances where he's scoring 2 goals a game, maybe getting a hat-trick and getting opportunities, but he's living off scraps, and that's not good for a striker. You cannot just expect a striker to live off scraps and keep producing miracles, because it won't. And the last 3 games are proof of that. He's not getting many chances, so he's not scoring goals, and then you're looking at him in a different light. And that's why people have been questioning him, quite wrongly, by the way, about his performances. But you've got to find a way of getting him involved, but you've got to you've got to build the team around him if you want him to be successful. You can't pay 69 million for a player and not make him your sole focus of the team. You just can't.
No. Alpha, you were the same mindset?
Yeah, look at both of his goals, right? They were kind of like close to the penalty spot, or even closer to the goal again. That it was kind of pure striker, Andy Cole goal hanging kind of finishes, which is perfect and he's doing the business for Germany. 9 times out of 10, I think Eddie Howe plays 4-3-3. The only time which he will change it is maybe against a big team. And we said at the end, after a reaction show to Brentford, we think, spoiler alert, we think he should go 5 at the back, or 3 centre backs, let's say, for that game against City. I know we're at home, but that's what we were talking about at that time. And that's what I would do. Is still, we know we're going to be missing Byrne, but we still have options there, and then we also play. Hall obviously then goes in at that left wing back position, and either Trips or Tino, whether he's available, in at right wing back position, and that would bring us further up the pitch, you would imagine, and then it alters things. It gives it would potentially get more balls into the box as well. We saw what Lewis Hall did when he came on that time against Brentford after the penalty with him. But I'm also looking forward to seeing what does happen when we have Wisa back, and do we play Wisa and Woltemade, and how that would work. So I think we get more out of him that way as well. He'd be kind of more a creator, I think, in that sense. So I can't see him changing it drastically, but in the City game, I would go for 5 at the back.
Okay.
What about you, Chris? What do you think?
I think in short, I think something has to be done to accommodate Nick Voltemada. You said at the very end of what you were saying, Pete, that you don't pay 69 million for a player and not play around that player, and I agree with that. Something isn't quite right. I mean, Nick Voltemada made a fantastic start to his Newcastle career. Every time he touched the ball, it seemed to go in, which was great. But as you rightly say, you want 3, 4, 5, 6 chances. You want to be able to go, oh, he scored 2 today. He could have had 4. But we don't say that about Nick Voltemada. It's like, yeah, he got 1 chance and he scores, which was great. But we lost 3-1. It's like, well, where's all the chances? So fundamentally, we need as a team to, I don't know how, I don't know why, or what the best approach is, but we need to change, or we need to find a way to get that ball into the box more. And also we need to be saying to, Nick Voltemada, listen, stay up there because the ball is going to come in the box. And maybe we see that frustration a little bit, with Harry Kane. Harry Kane, towards the end of his Tottenham career, used to drop incredibly deep. And people were saying, well, the reason he's dropping as deep is because he hasn't seen the ball. He wants to see more of the ball. He wants to come and get the ball. Maybe that's where Nick Voltemada is, because he's knowing, I don't want 1 chance a game. I want to, have an influence on this game. I want to have an impact. But if the ball's constantly getting fizzed into the box and the ball's constantly coming in, you think, I've got to be there. I've got to make sure I'm there because I know that Jacob Murphy's going to whip it in. I know Anthony Gordon's going to hit the byline and slam it across the 6-yard box. I need to be there. So for me, the emphasis is on the central midfielders and the wingers. The central midfielders and the wingers need to offer more. And interestingly, what you boys were talking about, we know Lewis Hall is going to start left wing back, left back, whatever it may be. If you bring Tino Livramento into that as well, that changes the attacking emphasis. It also, you would hope, gives the wingers a little bit more of an option. Oh, I can cut inside. Oh, hang on, I've got an overlapping right back or an overlapping left back there, who I can maybe give the ball to as an option. Maybe distract the centre back or the right back, left back, whoever they're coming up against. So for me, things do need to change. However, I'm hoping that with the players that are going to be at our disposal, maybe that will naturally bring things, to a better conclusion. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's an interesting one. Ultimately, I want us to put more chances on the plate for Nick Voltemada, and I want us to be more effective and look more dangerous in the attacking third, because really that's what we need to do. Right, where to go now? This is a quick and easy one, I think, because I think it's quick and easy. But Geordie Tune for Life says, evening lads and lasses, question, who in your opinion will Newcastle sell for over 50+ million within the next 2 years?
Pete, do you want to bring up Football Manager there again? Because Pete answered this question before the show.
I was talking to Dad about my Football Manager 26 save, and I was trying to put it up on the screen before the show started so I could show him, because I'm in the crunch match at the moment with Chelsea. I'm away at Stamford Bridge. I'm 3-0 up. Boy, would I love Newcastle to win 3-0 at Stamford Bridge. But yeah, it says on one of my achievements that I sold a player for over 50 million. He was like, who did you sell? And I sold Joe Linton for 54 million to Inter Milan, of all clubs. 54 million, but I think we could get around that for Joe Linton if we were to sell him in the summer. Not to Inter Milan, because I don't think they could afford that, but I think someone in Saudi would pay that. If a team in Saudi were willing to pay 90 million for Mitoma from Brighton, we could get 50 million for Joe Linton. So for me, look, we're in a really unique position now. I'm kind of slightly going off track. We're in a very unique, an unusual position now as Newcastle United, because when we first had this takeover, we lacked valuable assets to sell. Yeah. Handset Maximum was one of them. Miguel Almiron was another, and they went for peanuts. Let's be honest. 23 million for Maxi. What was it? 11 million or something for Miguel Almiron. Not great money. But we're now in a position where all of those non-sellable assets or non-asset value-wise are all gone. So all the players that we now have to sell or move on have a value. Yeah. And I think there are going to be some difficult conversations to have. And this is where Eddie Howe's going to start really start earning his money, because we've now got a squad of players that are actually worth something and do have a lot of value. I think Joe Linton's one of them. And I'm not saying I want Joe Linton to be sold, but you've got to look around, and the club have constantly said to us that players are going to need to be moved on. We are going to have to be better negotiators, better buyers, better sellers, more importantly. And I'm looking around this squad and I'm looking at players. I'm thinking, who could we get? Who could we move on and actually generate some money for? And the two that stick out for me, three that stick out for me. One is Joe Linton. The other is Harvey Barnes. As much as I love him, he's got a value on his head, and he's 28 years old. We are in a position where we can maximize that value. I don't think he's quite worth 50 million. I think we could probably get about 30 for him at 28 years old. I think we could get around 30 for him, which is 8 million less than his value that we paid for him. And the other one is Joe Willock, who I still think, regardless of what we think about him, could still fetch 20 million plus for him. Yeah. I think they're three players, but the one that could get 50 million that you could sell, and it's not a monumental blow to the club, I think, is Joe Linton. He's a sellable asset that you could reinvest and move on with, and it doesn't disrupt the team too much, and it can actually elevate the team and make it better. That's my reality to this situation. Of course, you've got your Gordons and you've got your Canales and you've got your Brunos, etc., etc. But you don't really want to sell those players. But I think he's the one.
Dazzler?
Yeah, the easy option is to answer this question as in things don't go well for us. We don't qualify for Champions League, even Europe, and then you have players that are potentially thinking of leaving, like your Trinales and stuff like that. That fulfills that criteria, but we don't want to go down that road. We want to stay positive. And then I'm just thinking across the board there. I don't think there's anyone. I don't think we get 50 million for Joe Linton, and like you're definitely not getting for your Joe Willocks. We wouldn't want to be selling the likes of Botman and Tonali and Bruno and Tino and Lewis Hall and so on and so forth. So I don't think there's anyone we get 50 million. We get like decent prices for some of our players, but it wouldn't be worth up to 50 million. On the likes of like a Barnes or Willock or so on and so forth. So yeah, I don't see a £50 million player that we're willing to sell.
Yeah, so yeah, I kind of in my head I broke this into two different sections. So will Newcastle sell a player for over 50 million within the next 2 years? Yes. I think we will. And then I thought, right, well, who would that player be? And I'll be honest, and I don't want to say this, but I think within the next 2 years, Sandro Tonali leaves. Genuinely think he will. I don't want him to, but I think he will. I also think that Anthony Gordon will leave in the next 2 years. Thinking that far ahead, I think he will. Okay. The ones who are obvious that you boys have already spoken about, Joe Willock, 20 million all day, every day. I think you could get that. Harvey Barnes, I think you maybe get your money back on him. Maybe I think maybe 35 million. I think we paid 38 for them. I could be wrong, 37, 38. I think you could possibly get your money back on him, maybe. But yeah, if you were to ask me who I want to sell, it would be Barnes. The top three would be Barnes, Joe Linton, and Willock. Joe Linton probably the bottom of those three, I would say.
You're getting 50 million for any of those three?
I don't know if we get 50 for Joe Linton. I think Pete's done an absolute wonder, mastery stroke, getting 54 million for Joe Linton on Football Manager. I bet it did, mate. Especially when you're not well. Do you know what I mean, mate? You need to give yourself some credit here. I think Joe Linton would probably be in anywhere between 40 and 50. I think it'd be 40, 45 million. But not saying we couldn't get 50, but I think it'd be just under that. But yeah, Yeah, I would say. But yeah, I think Gordon and Tonali will leave in the next 2 years. I don't want them to. I think they will.
Just another football manager story. I have 2 saves of football manager. One I was doing on the beta with Newcastle, and then because I couldn't get the game to work then because of the bugs. But when I got it back working again, I said I'm going to try something different. And I'm manager of Brighton now, but because I want to see how Eddie gets on, and did step in and bring a few wonder kids with me. That's my plan. But on when I was in my Newcastle save, I got 20 million out of Spurs for Kraft. Have that.
Jesus. So going. What's the Spurs manager? Was it still on? Had he been sacked at that point?
No. It
was it
Frank?
Frank, yeah.
Frank. What the hell?
That's impressive.
Yeah,
20 million for Kraft. I think when I sold him, what did I sell him for? I think I might have got like 13. I think I got something like 13 for him.
Still good.
Yeah. That was decent. But yeah, and you know what? With Joe Linton, I wasn't even playing him that whole season. I didn't play him at all because I tell you who I signed, and I'd love to sign him, and I didn't realize his contract was out in the summer. I signed Ruben Neves, so I played it. His contract's out in the summer. Like there's talk that he could leave in January for a nominal fee. He's like 26 years old. That's one that he's a player to keep an eye for in January, because when I realized that, I was like, wow, like we should be looking to get all over that. I know he's on big money now where he is, but he ain't going to get that money anywhere else in Europe. But he's a player, if you wanted to add into midfield with a bit of experience, like he's a player. So I got Neves on loan with a view to buy for like a nominal fee. I think I ended up signing for 5 million. Because his contract was running out. But yeah, I wasn't even playing Joe Linton, and then I still managed to get 50 odd million for him. So I was like, I do think we like. I go back to that Matoma deal and some of the deals that have been like Duran, for example. He went for like 70 odd million. Like Joe Linton's playing in the Champions League. He's scoring goals for Newcastle. Like maybe not many goals, but he's scoring. 28 years old still. Like. Matoma's the same age, I think. Matoma's the same age.
Yeah, I think he is. He's
90 million. Brighton must be kicking themselves and never accepted that. And I just think
that's one of the most baffling transfer decisions I've seen in recent years. That because as soon as the big come in and it was real, it was like, well, surely they're going to sell him, surely. And then when they didn't, it was like, what?
I'll sell him. Don't worry.
Bizarre.
Coming in at 90 million.
Yeah, bizarre. Right, boys, and this is going to be an even quicker one, this one. And the answer's no from me straight away. Tom Dixon says, question for the lads, do you think we'll hear something about the City case this week? So my answer is no, because I have no hope that we will hear anything anytime soon. But do you boys know anything different?
It's the Premier League meeting on this Friday as well, the 21st. And that's when they're going to talk about the new rules that we talked about before, anchoring and squad cost ratio and all this kind of stuff. I don't think we're going to hear about it either. And we all seem to get onto this topic, or it's topical around about the time we're playing City. I remember, but no, I don't think we do.
Pete?
Yeah, there's been some rumbles that we would hear by the end of November, so it could well be, and it is like any time now within the next couple of weeks. I reckon they're going to mention it. But you know what? With all the ATP party transactions, all that nonsense being resolved, it kind of paves into insignificance for me. It's not going to affect Newcastle United. Then I really don't care. Like, I thought it might have an impact. I thought City's cases might have an impact on Newcastle being able to benefit from it in some way, shape, or form. But I don't think City are going down. I don't think City are getting done for anything. They might have a financial fine, which they'll be able to pay quite easily. They're not getting docked points. They're not getting put into League Two. None of that's happening.
No.
So it really doesn't matter. For me, it doesn't matter. So I'm not even that fussed, to be fair. Not fussed at all by it. I think it's more for the top 6 clubs because I think they're holding on to some hope that City are going to get done and it's going to help them in some way stop City from being as dominant as they have been. But I think they're going to be. Oh, God. Ooh, Congo just scored.
Game on. Game on.
My anger levels have just risen slightly. But yeah, I look, to answer the question, yeah, I think we'll find out in the next couple of weeks, and I don't think it'll affect Newcastle at all.
No. Going back to what you mentioned earlier, Daz, Tom Dixon says AZ Alkmaar will not stand in the way of selling midfielder Keys Smith, but will be looking for a record fee in excess of 22 million. Yes or no, Daz? Should we be looking to sign Keys Smith, or is that too much for a youngster who maybe may not make the grades? From what we're hearing, he sounds absolutely wonderful. I've not seen anything of him. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, the name was brand new to me. I haven't stayed up all night watching him doing the Dennis Wise. But do you think this is the deal Newcastle United would be interested in doing, or do you think that maybe it's too high a price, given that he will come with a risk, given that he plays in Holland? He's still only really young, and maybe he's not going to have an instant impact on the team. What do you think? I
think it's something we'll get involved in. What's his height? So he's 6 foot. Yeah, so that's obviously consideration for
say it's part of the 6 foot crew. 6 foot crew.
He's been doing well. He's been doing well in Holland, and he is hasn't he at the same club as Troy Parrott, who's also been doing well. Nice link in there. But I don't know. I'd say we're going to be linked to a lot of players between now and January. But someone to look at. I think we're in the mix. There's a couple other clubs in the mix as well, big name clubs as well. So one to keep an eye on. He did look good in the clips that I saw, but too early yet until it intensifies. It was Craig Hope that mentioned it, wasn't it? Why would we be giving away our targets though? So it could be just misdirection as well. Who knows?
Yeah, possibly. What do you think, Pete? Do you think we're in for this lad? Or do you think the majority of Europe are?
What's that?
Well, I said, or do you think the majority of Europe are, and it's not really a secret?
Yeah. I think he's a player that we're interested in. I think he's a player on the list. Whether he's the go-to player, I'm not quite sure. Newcastle are quite crafty with their business. They almost they're full of smoke screens. I think he'll be on the list, but it's almost like they'll push him they'll push his narrative forward because they're pursuing something else, and they'll throw off other clubs of who they're actually after. The one thing's for sure is that Newcastle have to go into the market, and they have to sign at least a couple of players in January. But I think they're interested in him. I've not really seen too much of him. I've been actually back and watched the game against Palace that he played in the Conference League, and he's got huge potential. There's no surprise that Real Madrid and Barcelona are after him just from watching that game. But I watched the clips, didn't really know too much about him at all until that link. He reminds me, he's got a playing style of a Kevin De Bruyne. Like the way he plays, the way he moves and manipulates the ball, I think is impressive for a lad so young. What I will say is I think that's the style of and profile of player I think Eddie Howe wants in his midfield. Someone that can take the ball in any position, tight spaces, someone that's attack-minded. You watch on the clips, he's always wanting to progress the ball forward. He's not afraid to shoot from distance. It's what we lack in our team. We don't have enough players that can do that. So I think he has the absolute profile that Eddie Howe wants. I'm just not sure whether we'll get him because, as has already been mentioned, every man and his dog is after him. The one thing I will say, though, is that all of these teams want him, but can they offer him football? That would be the kicker, whoever he does go to. Because 22 million plus. So you look at maybe a deal around 25 million. That's peanuts for someone that could be potentially a really top talent. But it's a case of he's going to want to go and play football. Who's going to offer that? Can Barcelona offer that? No. Can Real Madrid offer that? No. Like some of these teams that are linked with him can't offer him first team football. So that's going to be a kicker. Could Newcastle offer him first team football? Well, if he's a replacement for the likes of Joe Linton, potentially. That's the only thing I'm thinking of that could be in our favour. Is that we can offer him something that some of these bigger clubs can't. So, but look, he looks a really talented young player from the little clips that I've seen and from the game that I watch, but that's only really a small sample size. But yeah, for me, it's exciting that we're looking at these young, talented players, and it fills me with confidence that Ross Wilson is doing some good stuff, because this is not the norm for Newcastle United in terms of this profile of player. So let's see what happens. But he's definitely a player for me that's on the list. Whether we get him or not will depend on the bits that I've just mentioned. Yeah. What about you, Chris? What do you think about it? I know you mentioned you've not really seen too much of him, but do you think he's a player that we're after, that we'll be pursuing in January, or do you think it's a bit of a smokescreen?
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot of money. It's not like a Minter deal where it was done very quickly. 7 million, half out on loan. If you're spending 22 million on someone, he's then going to have to come into the team, in my opinion, because it's not like we're, I know we've got all of obviously the Alexander Isak money and Champions League money, etc., but yeah, he strikes me as a player who, you're right, will need to come into the team and have an impact. And I just wonder whether Newcastle, particularly because of the moment we're in, if we were like in the top 3, top 4 now, sitting pretty, doing really well in the Champions League, everything was rosy, everything was wonderful, maybe. But I just feel like, this January window is going to be really, really important. And if he does leave in January, I just don't know whether we take the risk on it. I don't know whether we're the right club to take the risk on him, given where we are at the moment. Maybe in the summer, who knows? Yeah, I don't know. And you raised a really good point, Pete. You know how bloody sceptical I can be at times. You don't hear nothing about who Newcastle United want, who they're interested in. So as soon as you hear, oh, Keith Smith, yeah, Newcastle want Keith Smith, it's like, do we though? I'm not saying we're not interested in him. I'm not saying, but as I said earlier, the majority of Europe are interested in him, if you believe tabloids. And I just wonder whether we're like, yeah, we really want him. By the way, we're working on him over here, but we're hoping that you're all paying attention to the fact we're working on him. I just wonder whether there's a little bit of that going on. But who knows? Who knows? I'm sure we will find out. But he sounds like a really talented lad. And anyone who gets linked or likened, should I say, to Kevin De Bruyne, would be somebody I would definitely be interested in. So yeah. My couple more boys before we start to look to wrap. Pete, actually, just to ask this, Irish Assassin, I feel like you've already answered this, but in fairness, you were talking in relation to your FM save. But Pete, you sold J7. Question is, who did you bring in? So you said that you brought in Ruben Neves, but I wanted to ask you, if we sold Joe Linton in January, who would you be going for? Maybe you'll say Ruben Neves, I don't know, but who would you be going for as a left centre mid?
As a midfielder, so I'll tell you my midfield that I've got currently. Let me get my squad up. So in my midfield, I've got Bruno, Sandro, Ruben Neves, Conor Gallagher, and one other. I can't see the rest of my squad right now, and I can't flick it on. So yeah, they're my 4 midfielders. Because I play midfield 2. I actually play Voltemeda in the 10 behind. Goncalo Ramos is my striker.
I have him at Brighton now as well.
Yeah. He's a goal machine. He's an absolute goal machine, and I put him just behind. In real life, my midfielders, I was really happy to hear the links with Edison again from Atalanta. I would love is to bring in him. I would love us to have a look at Ruben Neves, because I think he's Premier League proven. He's a talented midfielder, can play deep, can play in the 8, can score a goal from distance, set pieces, which delivery of set pieces is an issue for Newcastle United. They're not always bang on the money. He can certainly do that. So he offers a number of different factors there. I'm looking at Europe for my players that I want us to bring in. Europe, and obviously Ruben Neves is in Saudi, but I could go through others, but they're two that kind of stand out for me that I would like to bring in to Newcastle United to be able to play in that role. It's an interesting what you mentioned about when you talk about Keith Smith. There's a big. You're right to think, would we be taking a chance on him in January to sign him, Chris? But and I agree with that. I actually think this team needs a high-profile player,
proven.
Yeah, someone to come in where you see the name and you go, yeah, that's quality. Like, rather than these project players, you're right. It is more of a summer signing. You bring them in the summer where you're bringing in 4 or 5 players as part of a vision of what your team needs to be. You don't sign someone like him now in January. I think that's a really good point. And I personally want us to sign like a proven player. And they're just a couple. Edison is proven, very good player, Brazilian international. And then Ruben Neves. So there's two.
Yeah. Are you seeing Pete's Ruben Neves and Edison and raising them, Daz, or are you matching them? Are they two that you like the sound of?
I was going to say Edison as well, from Atalanta. I don't really know at this moment in time who else I'd go for.
Yeah, it's quite a broad question, to be fair.
Yeah, and I kind of want to see whose names we get linked with as well, but it will be a difficult one. So let's play it on a bit further and see if we are going after a midfielder. I'd be going for a striker because. Because I still, as I keep saying, I said from the start, I think Nick Waldemade is more of a 10 than anything else. And let's see what Wiese does when he does come back. Because if he comes back and gets injured again, or if he goes off to AFCON and gets injured, we definitely need a striker.
100%.
Yeah.
On the subject of January, Daz, and I've got 3 more questions and I'll make them quick. Right, so. No players, just positions. Which Tom Dixon says, where do you think Newcastle need to strengthen in the January window? Basically, for me, we need another left back and possibly another striker. Give me the positions that you think Newcastle should be aiming to recruit for in January.
Yeah, striker, top for me. Then a left back alternative to Lewis Hall. We have, as I keep saying, Alex Murphy, but he's not playing himself. What's the point in saying Alex Murphy? And we have said for last year, never mind this season, we don't want to see Dan Burn left back. Dan Burn is a brilliant centre back, but not left back. So after that, I don't see us going mental in January either. We do need to strengthen, but I don't see us going too crazy. It's not the win and unless we bring in some development players, but I'd say 2 max in January for me. It's difficult to get deals done in January, but at the same time, if he was willing to go down the loan market, and there's going to be players that are looking for World Cup spots up for grab in squads that want to move and to get some game time and put themselves in the window to get to the World Cup. Change of attitude on loan players, then we might see more activity.
And Pete, I suppose for this one, for you, I just want to slightly tailor it in that, I imagine you're probably very much in agreement with Daz about the striker, the left back, maybe even the central midfielder based on what you were saying. But do you think that the return of Tino Livramento may shelve the left back position, given that we know Kieran Trippier can play left back, we know Tino Livramento can play left back, obviously we've still got Emil Kraft who can play at right back, Malik Chow, Fabian Schär could probably be pushed right back. So my question is, same question, which positions do you think will strengthen? But and what priority order would you put them in? Daz has said that striker is number one. Like, what are your positions, and can you put them in priority order for me as well?
Yeah, the three positions you guys already mentioned: striker, midfield, and left back, and it's in that order. Striker is priority. Midfield for me is a second priority. I do really believe we've got numbers in that midfield, but I think we need more quality, more star quality, more experience. I genuinely believe we need to invest in that. And the left back, I believe a left back is. I think someone's in the chat said left back doesn't improve as I think it was Steve Wilder. Is it Steve Wilder? Put it in the chat. Yeah, Steve Wilder put it in the chat. Left back doesn't improve as it improves the squad. We've already seen like the impact that it has when we don't have a proper left back cover. I know Tino comes in and is excellent, superb. You could even say equal to Lewis Hall at left back, but he's our right back. He's our future right back, and we want him to be playing right back. Mm-hmm. And I think two players in each position needs to be of quality. For me, I do think a left back is needed. I think those three positions are needed. But I think your left back player is not necessarily going to be a high profile player. It will be maybe a young player with potential. We've been linked with, and I've watched him a couple of times actually, a young lad. Stuttgart. No, is it Stuttgart? Frankfurt. Stuttgart. Nathaniel Brown is who I've been looking at. Good, really, really good. Is it Frankfurt? Sorry, keep getting mixed up. I watched him the other day in the Champions League and played really well. Really, really good player. Good, tidy on the ball. His height might be an issue. I'm not sure if he's not like us, is 6 foot. I think he might be just underneath that. So it's a slight issue for Eddie Howe. But yeah, I really like the look of him, and it'll be that type of player I think we'll bring in at left back, someone that you can hone and work with to become a better player. I think the striker is absolutely crucial, regardless of what happens with Wisa. I'm now of the mindset that we need to move Willa Sula on. In January, we need to cash in, get as much as we can for him, even if it's a loan with an obligation. Let him go, get a big chunk of money for him, and use that money to go and invest. That's what we need to do, and I think we need to get another proper goal scorer to come in to this team. And I actually then believe we could potentially change formation, which is a question you asked earlier, Chris. I think getting another striker in actually could give us the license to maybe play two in midfield with the thought of playing Voltemade in that free role to allow him to go roaming, and we've still got that guy that can go running behind. It allows us to play a different style of football to accommodate Nick Voltemade a little bit better into this team. There's no doubt about it. In a strict 4-3-3 like we've been playing for years, Nick Voltemade is going to go missing in games. I don't think that system suits his game well. I do think
need players around him, don't you, Pete? You need players around him, so because these lovely flicks and the touches and the layoffs, he needs players around him. He can't just be isolated in the middle on his own.
Yeah, I've got no issue with him coming short actually to come and get the ball. I've got no issue with it, but we have had him long enough now where it should be ingrained into our wingers that if he's going to come deeper to win the ball, that they need to be spinning their fullbacks and running in and behind to offer something different. And at times they're not doing that. Interestingly enough, the only one that tends to do it is the one you wouldn't expect out of the forward. It's Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes is the only one that makes that. He makes that diagonal inside run, a really intelligent run. He does it, and he never gets the ball. And if he does get the ball, he's in on goal 1-on-1. He makes that run so many times. He's such an intelligent mover off the ball. But you've got pace of Alanga, pace of Gordon, pace of Murphy, and they never make that run. And I'm like, how are you expecting us to progress up the pitch if he's coming to receive the ball, which is right to do? I haven't got an issue with it. If you're not spinning in and creating another option, that long ball in and behind, what's the point? Like, I do think we need to change the style of play that we have with Nick Voltemade in the team. But I think Johan Wiesel will ease that. Another striker will absolutely ease that. A midfielder, I think, is really crucial. I really do think we need to move Joe Winnicott, and we just need to get another midfielder in. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with those three positions. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm really intrigued about how we're going to go about our business in January, lads. Really intrigued about it. I think it's going to be a big test, but I think it's going to be eye opening, because this will be Ross Wilson's first window with us, and the noises that we're hearing that he's already getting to work on January in recruitment. So I'm actually quite excited about what we could potentially do, because we have money. Everyone thinks that we've used or used that money. We've still got money, and we've still got players where we can still earn money, gain money by sales. So yeah, interesting, boys.
Fully loaded transfer shows will be back.
We will.
Chris, can I jump in and go to a question here?
Because
it's a good one here from Jonathan the Cat Greenwood. And he says, hey, Johnny, by the way. Hey, lads, would you sell Char in January for the right price? It's an interesting question, that one. Chris, we'll go to you first for your thoughts on this.
It would, yeah. It's a really good question from Johnny, and glad he brought it up as well, because obviously we have heard rumours about this in the recent days. Yeah, it would depend what the price is. I absolutely adore Fabian Schär. Love him. Like he's one of my. I think we'll look back in years to come, boys, and say when we're naming our all-time 11. I think he'll be in quite a number of those all-time 11s, because he's been that good. And arguably, as people say a lot, one of the bargains ever. 3 million from Deportivo La Coruña. So yeah, for £3 million, he's been a great servant. The reason I say I'd consider it is because, one, I think, he's not getting any younger, is he? And if someone was to come in with like 8 million, 10 million, would I consider it? Yeah, maybe I'm going overboard there. I don't know. But my second thing would be as well, if he wants to go, because I actually think he's deserved the right to make the call himself. And, let's be honest, if we're playing two centre backs, Malik Chow and Sven Botman, or Malik Chow and Dan Burn, are going to be the first choice centre backs. So particularly for the right hand side, the first choice centre back is Malik Chow. And if Fabian Schär wants to go and play football, I think he's deserved the right to kind of be there as long as the fee's right. So yeah, would I sell him? Yes, if he wanted to go and the price was right. Would I be happy about it? Probably not, because I think he's brilliant. I think he's absolutely. I'd love him to end his career at Newcastle, but because he's been such a good servant, if he wanted to go, I'd let him go.
Pete, your thoughts on this one? Yeah, reported. I was going to just get the picture up. Was reported. Sky Germany, Florian Plattenberg put it out there the other day, saying it was on the cards. For me, I would not be selling Fabian Schär in January. I'll be keeping him at the club. I think if any of our centre backs needs to leave, it'll be Jamal Lascelles. I think we need to be moving on before Fabian Schär. I think we've already seen. Yes, we've got 4 centre backs, but we've already seen what a couple of injuries can do to a squad. And I think we can't take the risk on letting them go. And if we do, we have to then invest in another centre back. The problem that you've got, though, is your first choice is Sven Botman and Malik Chow. So who then is going to come into the team? Who's then going to come to Newcastle United knowing they're effectively going to be 4th choice, because you've got Dan Burn, who anyhow is incredibly loyal to. So you put yourself in a predicament that you don't necessarily have to be in by letting him go. I get what you're saying, Chris. Like if he's decided to go, I think that will be respected and he leaves, and that's fine. If that's the case, I'm not quite sure he will necessarily want to leave. I think Fabian Schär could actually still play quite a lot of football for Newcastle United this season. And actually, there's an argument of whether he even starts against Man City. I think there's a genuine argument there after the poor performance of Sven Botman. Was he just Sven Botman come out the team and Fabian Schär come in? Quite possibly. I think there's a genuine question there. So he's still got an opportunity to play a lot of minutes for Newcastle United. And I look at what Fabian Schär offers us as a centre back and as a squad player. and I'm looking at the money that we'd get for him, anywhere between 5 and 10 million at most. I'm looking at that and thinking, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it at this stage to get 5 to 10 million for a centre back that can offer actually quite a lot to this squad? He's got experience. He's a really good ball carrier for the team. He can come in and do a job. He's so reliable. He knows the club.
2 years ago, isn't it, Pete? Kevin Trippier 2 years ago.
It absolutely is. And I just think, you know what? The money that we're likely to get for him, he's not on massive amounts of wages either. The money that we're going to get for him, is it really worth it? And that's my question. I don't believe it is. So for me, I would be selling him. He talked about wanting to end his career at Newcastle United, and I would be happy for that. I would be happy to keep a player of his experience and let him see out his time at Newcastle United. I think he's earned the right. He's deserved the right. He loves the club. He loves the area, the city that he lives in. Keep him. Let's not be moving on players like that. As I've said to you boys earlier on in the show, there are other players out there that we should be moving on and can get a decent fee for. And we should be targeting letting go, not players that can absolutely offer something to Newcastle United, and Fabian Schär is one of them.
I too would not be selling Fabian Schär. Before I even answered this question, I thought, I wonder was he playing against Sweden for Switzerland? But of course, he retired from international football. I remember the video on that, and like he started the season as our first choice right-sided centre back. And he's going to be used right through the season. He's going to get game time. I would, as I said, I'd be playing 5 at the back, 3 centre backs. He'd be starting for me against City. His long-range passing, accurate passing, which is absolutely unbelievable. His thunder bastard shots, his service first. I know as well, Chris. You're saying he's earned the right to be given the option if you want to, and he has. But I want to be selfish, and I'm going to keep him because we need him couldn't do it to Sav either. It would not be fair to Sav to let him go. But so he stays for me.
Yeah, and I'd be delighted to keep him because, like I say, I'd love him to end his career here. I think he's been absolutely wonderful. But great question, Johnny. Great question. Right, boys, one more before we wrap because we need to wrap. Let's see. Yeah, this is an interesting one from David Williams. And Daz, I'll come to you on this one. Question: not if, but when we hit the bottom 3. How long will Eddie have?
I don't believe we'll hit the bottom 3. And I know. If we were to lose all those games, then things get and the sequence of the next 7 games, and including the Derby game against Sunderland, things would not look pretty then. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we are going to pick up points there somewhere along the way, and including in the Champions League games as well. So I think Eddie does get to the end of the season. It would have to be very, very drastic turn of events for us to be looking as in for us to depart with Eddie. I'm not saying I would look at things in the summer and see where we are to judge the season then on its merits, but no, I don't see it getting to the stage that we have to go nuclear. I really, really hope we don't.
What about you, Pete?
Yeah, I don't think we go into the bottom 3. I think, as Lee said the other night, the best is yet to come from Newcastle United. We've not played well this season, but things will get better. Whether it gets better against City or not is another question. But I think Newcastle United will get better. I don't think Eddie Howe's job is under threat. I don't think it is. Eddie Howe is going to have to go on a significantly long losing streak for Newcastle to pull the trigger and let him go. The only way I see Eddie Howe leaving Newcastle United is maybe in the summer if England come calling after the World Cup. It's the only way I see Eddie Howe leaving Newcastle United, in my opinion. I don't see him becoming under pressure. He's under pressure to get results, but I don't think he's under pressure for his job. They're two different things for me. And so, I think, look, we just need to rally around him and the players and get behind them, create a crazy amount of noise against Man City, really create a cauldron atmosphere. I was annoyed and pissed off when we lost to Brentford. I've had a bit of time to reflect now, and I'm on that positivity train. We're going to turn this around. We're going to get things improving. We might not see it full force against City, but we're going to start putting some results in very soon. I'm confident in it. So back on the positivity train. Eddie Howe won't be under pressure for his job. Newcastle will not be in the bottom three. That's just my thoughts on it. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, no, like you boys, I don't think we'll be in the bottom three, and I certainly hope we're not going to be in the bottom three. That's for sure. And yeah, I do you know what? I think having Lewis Hall back, I think having Tino Livramento back, all of a sudden I'm feeling more positive for this City game. And obviously, if we see Johan Visser involved in the squad, I think that can only be a plus. Nick Voltemada obviously has had a really nice breakaway with Germany, scoring 2 goals. I just want to see. I want to see the Newcastle of old. And do I think Eddie can turn it around and provide that? Yes. But my only concern, I suppose, is that it just needs to happen quick. I just want to see a good performance against City overall. I just want to see a fight, a spirit, and think, do you know what, we were in the game. Even if we don't win the game, at least go, do you know what, we played well, though. We had a good game there. You know, we might have lost 2-1 or whatever, but we had a really good go, and we give them a really good match. That's what I want to see. And I'm hoping that this is going to be kind of like the start of our Premier League season now, because if we invite Man City to St James's on the weekend and we go and beat them, then that can be the start of something really positive. So yeah, I'm going to stay positive, boys. I'm staying positive. But yeah, sorry to anyone whose question we've not been able to answer tonight. We've obviously tried to get through as many as we could. But thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in, and thank you for being with us for the whole 1 hour 32. It's been a really good show. We do these Q&A shows every now and again, don't we? And I think this felt like an opportune time to do one, because lots of questions out there, as we've seen. And hopefully we've hopefully it's been an enjoyable show for everyone watching.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're about there, people. Answered all the questions. We've got more to come this week. On Loaded Mag at NUFC, we'll be back, not necessarily for a top table talk, but we'll be back with another show in the early part of next week to come up. We've also got the big match preview, Man City, to come up this week. So make sure that you get the notification bell on. You're keeping your eye on all things Loaded Mag and UFC, because we are going to be busy once again when the games come thick and fast. I'm actually trying to work on a Marseille preview. I'm a potential guest.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, so potential guests to work on for a Marseille preview. So hold our horses on that. But I think you just put in the private chat just a little reminder. We have still 2 tickets available, and I haven't got the picture here. I don't know if we have to change the tab. Do we have to change the
Go for it.
1 second. I'll just change the tab for you guys. Which one? Where is it? Which one is it in? What's going on?
Daz keeps trying to put Daz in the show, and Daz is putting himself in, and I'm taking him out. Sorry, Daz.
What is it? Oh, I wonder what the hell was going on there. I can't see the picture. Pictures disappeared somewhere.
Has to be here somewhere.
It was there.
Yeah, it was there. And now it's not. No, not that picture.
Hey, I know where it is. It's in the Champions League tab. I can't switch tabs now.
Oh, hang on, mate. Champions League tab. There you go.
Yeah, here it is.
There we go. There we go. So Pete Graves of Sky Sports is hosting a fantastic event, the Defensive Dynamos, featuring Warren Barton, Stuart Pearce, and our current right back, Kieran Trippier. We have 2 tickets for this event that Pete Graves has kindly given to us to be able to allow our viewers the chance to go to this event. It is on Wednesday evening, people. Wednesday evening to Wednesday the 19th of November. So coming back around very, very quickly. Now, for anybody that is interested in this event, first of all, you need to know whether you can actually make the event, first and foremost. So if you're in another country, unfortunately, probably not ideal unless you're planning to get a flight over for this event in particular. But if you're in the Northeast or you're in and around where you can make the event on Wednesday, put yourself in the position to win it. Now, there's a way we can do this, lads. I've got a question.
The easy way or the hard way?
Yeah. So there's a question I can pose to the guest or the chatters, and it can be first come on the answer. We'll win it. But obviously, if you're going to put your name in, you got it, or you're going to put the answer in, then you've got to know that you can actually make the event. 2 tickets to this. So it's a great opportunity to see ex and current players up close and personal. So are you boys happy for that?
I think the easiest way, you're right, Pete, I think the easiest way is to ask the question, and in the chat, you need to put your answer, and you also need to confirm that you can come. If you don't say that you can come, we'll just assume that you're answering the question. But if you put the answer and then put I can come, great, you're in.
Okay, so
Let's
I
do
can
that.
make the event. I can make the event, and here's my answer. So
Yes.
the question is very, very simply, what squad number does Tino Livramento wear?
I've got a weird thing. I've told you boys this, haven't I? I've got a weird thing about numbers. Come on, everyone. Come on, everyone. It's an unusual number. I like that question, Pete. It's an unusual number.
What squad number does Tino Livramento wear for Newcastle United? So let's see who comes into the chat with that answer. Foxy's not in the country.
Foxy knows the rules. I like it, Foxy.
He knows the score.
So you must be able to come to the event, answer the question, and then say that you are able to come to the event. And if you can, the tickets are all yours. There's 2 tickets, just to be clear.
We could be waiting a while here.
Tense wait.
We can play a jingle.
Yeah. Let's see. So Fox is not putting in, so that's fine. But let's see who can put themselves into the chat to get the answer. Still nothing. Still nobody in the chat as yet. What number does Tino Livramento wear for Newcastle United?
You're wasting your own time, lads. It could be here all night.
Yeah.
Not going to get an answer.
Can't make it. I think it's because the viewers that are watching probably know the answer, like Irish Assassin and Foxy, but can't make the event. So if we don't get an answer right now, what we can do,
Fox is giving clues.
he is giving clues. But what we can do, we can open it up to the comment section, so if people are watching the show back and can make the event, whoever puts their comment in first with the answer, they can make it. Otherwise, we could be here all night. We're not able to. We're not in a position to be here all night. So,
just to add in as well, Irish Assassin, drinking age clue, but not in the UK.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We'll leave it there, people. It's still up for grabs to win.
Yes.
All you've got to do is
Contact
put the answer and in brackets say I can make the event. And once you've done that, get in contact with us. Find us on socials. Get in contact with us, and we can get it in.
So it's Wednesday, the 19th of November, isn't it?
19th of November. Yeah, the Irish Mags have a framed jersey of Tino actually in the bleaker. I've seen them parade that before.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's in the comment section. So we're looking for who can make it and the answer. So cool. That is it Boys, someone switch me back to the loaded mag tab for a second, please. For some reason, won't let me back now. Cool.
Should be on there now.
And we will say good night and enjoy the rest of the weekend. See you soon. Thanks for watching. Good luck. It's for Nick when he's 2 goals for Germany. More to follow for Newcastle, hopefully.
Oh, come on, move a little closer. Come on, I wanna hear you whisper. Come on, settle down inside my love. Accidentally in 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 love. Accidentally, come on, spin a little tighter. Come on, and the world's a little brighter. Come on, get yourself inside.